Hello everyone, welcome back to Rolling Solo. My name is Adam Smith and today we have a very special product preview of UberStax, the universal game piece holders that are innovative, interlocking, and stackable. Now, one thing I will say about my channel is I do not feature any products and haven't in the past, but I wanted to show this one simply because of the amount of requests that I got through either private messages, Gloomhaven comments throughout the Kickstarter playthrough, or just in general, just feedback from other places online as well as to where I'm getting these particular stands for my cards, and people are wondering where they are, what they are, and why I'm using them. Well, this is a video dedicated to showing you what UberStax are all about, really. So let's take a quick look at what I've got here. So I'm going to quickly just bounce over here, and I'm going to show you what I've done for a setup for my current playthrough, which I actually had on hold for a bit based on the Gloomhaven Kickstarter kind of taking over my life there for a bit. But what I've done here is I've essentially used UberStax on the Arkham Horror, the card game playmat, to kind of give it like a 3D effect. So what I really like about this, and I guess there's quite a few things I actually like about this. One of the best things is, I mean, I'm standing up right now, so you're seeing this from like a 6'3" type viewpoint, so it's pretty high off the table. If I come down a little closer into the game itself, if you were sitting at table level, you'd kind of be bringing it back to about here. And as you can see, what it really does, I mean, even if you were to completely ignore the playmat and just focus on the UberStax, what it's really doing is giving not only like this 3D-ish effect to the video itself, or not the video, but the cards itself, in that they're kind of positioned upwards. One of the things I really like, and something that really kind of bothers me about seeing a lot of playthroughs online, is a lot of the playthroughs are done, instead of being at table level with the cards facing you, they're table level with the cards facing flat on the ground. So what ends up happening is you've got a camera angle like this, for instance, and you aren't able actually to see or read the cards because they're not flat up in front of you. Now, obviously right now you can't read half the cards that are here, and this really isn't about the cards themselves, but what I really like UberStax in terms of what they provide is when I went and picked up my box, I purchased it was called a rainbow, let me just try to remember, rainbow case, I think? Yeah, it's a rainbow case. And it came with 10 packages of UberStax of all the different colors. And I think this was a result of their Kickstarter, the 2.0 version, which introduced about 4 to 6 different colors extra on top of the basic ones. It might have had 4, and they already had 6, I believe. So, like, as you can see here, like when we're looking at this, even from this particular height right here, you can actually kind of see, you know, it's actually really nice. Even though this playmat's meant to have things laid flat, when I'm playing Arkham Horror solo, again, I still have some cards that are flat. What I love about this is when I'm sitting at like a head level to the table, where like this is where I would normally be sitting height-wise, like everything's popping out at me. Like I can look down here at Miskatonic University, Easttown's right there. So what these UberStax are really doing for you in terms of benefit is they're not only holding your cards upright so that it's quick, you're quickly able to grab them, you're quickly able to flip them over and use them on the tray. You can go like this when you're ready to unlock and that kind of thing. It's just really handy, and they don't fall over, they don't tip. When you do 2, so for instance, when you do like a stackable of 2, so you right now have a base here, and this one essentially just plugs into it. It's kind of like Lego, for instance. Like if you're just thinking in terms of how it's built, this is the very simplistic way to set up Arkham Horror, because everything's just in a 2 combo, you know, kind of combination in order to create a base. But I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them. So 2 each, that's 18 there. And then I've got what here's for essentially my hand. So that way I don't have to hold it. Now in my videos, the reason UberStax is such a huge plus in my mind is that for solo players, people with dexterity issues in terms of holding cards, maybe even a physical disability or anything like that, and even if all those are out of the question and it's just simply convenience, these things are incredible in terms of being able to not only see what's in your hand without having to rifle through everything, but even for me doing these videos, they're a massive bonus because I don't have to keep lurching over the camera in order to find out what is down at the far end of the table. It's all popped up in my face. Now you can also see that some of these in the back here are laying flat down, but that's just because those are based on the playmat, so I dropped them there. But what I really want to show you here is just how cool UberStax can be in terms of the visual effect. Now, I think a lot of you have seen my Arkham Horror the card game playthroughs in the past. I didn't have them at that time, but I do have it now. But I just wanted to go ahead and show you what UberStax can do for you in terms of bringing a card game up off the table from being flat up here to your face, so that it gives it a little bit more like it's on. It's kind of like you're in it. So what I've done here is I've actually set up like downtowns here, Rivertown, your house up front. You know, East Town's on the east side of the table, University's over there, north side up there, south side down here. So I've set it up in a way that like it actually makes sense. And I don't know, I just love them. So what ended up happening was I started playing through Gloomhaven, I started playing through Arkham Horror, and I was using these things almost as a convenience item, kind of going, these are nice, like I'll probably end up continuing to use them. And I got so many messages of people asking me, like, where in the heck did you get those card holders? Those are amazing. You know, there's nothing like it. I haven't seen anything like it. And this video is to give you guys a heads up on where it's at. So when the video is done, I'm going to actually link into the UberStax store itself, so that if you're interested in this product as we go along here, you can just jump to that link and purchase them there. I purchased mine and I actually got a lot. I kind of went crazy because I wanted one of every color, and this is the reason why. So when we went into our Gloomhaven playthrough, which I currently did, and I did this recently, where we actually featured 111 total videos on the Gloomhaven Kickstarter playthrough, where there were different characters at the time. I didn't have, for instance, this one is the Spellweaver here, purplish background color, cards are purple. So I obviously went ahead and used the purple backings from the UberStax in order to create kind of the same dynamic of color. It really pops. I like the way it looks. And then if you go here and look at the Brute, for instance, you know, his cards are blue. So again, it just kind of like, it just makes the vibe of the whole thing really pop. And I love that. I looked at them and went, you know what, that looks really classy. Not only is it easy to see the cards. So one thing I will let you know about is I've kind of done a little sneaky thing here. But in the UberStax, which I'll get to in a second, instruction manual, it shows you how you can actually stack these things in different ways to accommodate your game, because obviously not every game's the same. Like you look at what I showed you with Arkham Horror, we really only need two combo UberStax together in order to get a card up in a straight manner. And really you could fit two cards on it. Like for instance, I can move my character, you know, along the way as he moves from place to place, like so, and I have tons of room to do that without blocking anything. But when you come over here to Gloomhaven, these essentially, if you're not familiar with the game, would be your hand, and really it's a hand management type game. So the focal point is having all these cards in your hand for the majority of the game. And so what ends up happening is most people just don't enjoy holding a deck of cards in their hand for the entire game, even when you have already played the game you've chosen to. So just so you guys have a backstory, in Gloomhaven you pick two cards in order to go about your turn. It is kind of, typically you just take the rest of your hand, put it on the table and be done with it. What this allows you to do is have these things straight up in your face. No one else can see them. You can tilt them in any way you want. You can turn it sideways. You can hide it from your friends. And then you can go ahead and plan your next stage without having to rifle through the deck. Again, total convenience and not a necessity, but I can tell you right now, I've used them with friends and I've used them in all of my playthroughs, as you guys have seen, and it's incredible. It's given me a massive advantage, especially when playing solo, so especially with multiple characters. So what you can see here is what I've done. I'll take these cards out. So if you take all these cards off the UberStax, this is essentially the kind of format that I put these silly things together, and they are like this. So we've got like a base at the bottom. So there's three. So essentially, just so you guys are aware, and I haven't told you this yet, but every single package that you purchase individually, they come in kind of packs of 6 of each color. So right here you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that would be one pack to get the purple color that you want there. And then in terms of base color, it's really whatever you want. I obviously prefer things like these earth kind of tones, so black, gray, white, that kind of stuff. I use those for the in-betweens or the bases, you know, preferably so that the colors really pop. And then of course on the back here, hidden, in order to keep it from tilting over and falling, what's happening here, and this is something I wasn't able to show during the Gloomhaven playthrough, but there's actually an UberStax kind of connected upside down to the back in order to keep stability, so that, you know, you can't knock this thing over. You can smash on it really, really hard and it's not going to flip over. Now obviously the higher you build this, as you can see, there are holes that kind of go across the top. It's a Lego kind of mentality where you really can build trays off this thing if you wanted to. And that's something else I'll mention. In my playthrough for Gloomhaven, I actually ended up creating an entire temple from one of the scenarios that Isaac released out of UberStax, and I'm going to link that playthrough into the this video here so that you guys can see just how insanely customizable these UberStax products are. They are insanely customizable. I was able to create a 3-tiered dungeon that was like gave it a 3D effect just using these things like Lego. So it's amazing, and I don't even know how I would be able to film these things without them. They're a huge help to me. So again, this one's kind of weird because I put the black one in the middle, but really what you've used here in total is 6 purple, so that's 1 pack, and then 3 black. So if you look at this, same type of situation. If you were to take all the cards off in terms of what the Brood has, you've got the exact same setup. So it's 6 in terms of color of blue, and then there's 3 black. So between these two, for 2 players essentially in Gloomhaven to have all their cards completely visible, you're essentially purchasing 3 packs. Well, when you want to talk about packs, we'll move over to the next section, which is kind of how these things are packaged for sale. So if you head over to the UberStax product page on their online, which again I'm going to link in the description below, you're going to have a multitude of different options in terms of how you want to buy these things. They obviously come in the packs as I stated. So for instance, this is 1 pack of UberStax with 6 white UberStax. It also comes with an instruction sheet, which I'm sure they have on their site as well, with a handy guide essentially of all the different configurations you can make of it. And I can tell you right now, guys, you're not limited to whatever they put on this package. They're giving you examples as to the common use of this particular product, but I can tell you right now that like the amount of different ways you can customize these things is just insane. And like I said, that temple playthrough that I did, please go check that video out, because if you haven't seen it already, it'll more than prove to you that these things are flexible to build really however you want. So it's very, very cool. What I did was I went ahead and purchased this one here. Now this came from the box is a little beat up because I've obviously used them quite a bit. I've used them for all of my gameplay videos, I think thus far. And I purchased this one, and it was a result. This one, if I remember correctly, this one came from the Kickstarter 2.0 when they added the extra colors. And I forget which of the, I think it was 4 extra colors like I mentioned earlier, and I think they boosted it from the 6 that was there, or maybe I could be bouncing back and forth, I'm not sure. But essentially, they added more colors, and this was the rainbow bundle, essentially, that gives you basically 1 package for every color. So in this box here, you'd receive, if you bought this entire box, which is available on their site, you'd end up getting 10 packages. And you can see right there, each package contains 6 UberStax pieces from white, black, blue, red, yellow, green, orange, brown, purple, gray. The cool thing about this is that, and I couldn't set up every single game that I could possibly fathom, because I could use these in every single game I have. I use them for dice games to hold dice. You can build trays. So here's an example. Like I have this one here that I built. Totally random, has all kinds of colors mixed together, but what have I done is I've essentially built like a tray and a card holder. So think of something like Ticket to Ride, where you're the green player. Now obviously I've used all my blacks and grays, so the back could probably change to something a little bit more classy than this brown and yellow, but essentially if I was the green player, oh geez, let's see. So essentially here's a good spot for me to show you kind of how this plugs in. So these things are all on prongs, and you're just as easy as going like that. And you just press down, press in, there you go. Whole thing's connected. They're really stable, like this thing is rock solid. So essentially what you can do is you can actually put your cards across the top here. So say you're playing Ticket to Ride, drop your cards. You can even build the cards out further on the top to make more layers, put more on the back to make it stronger, and then put all your trains in a row right here. Like, you can use them for whatever, right? It just enhances the game, makes it that much cooler. So getting back to their online store, from what I understand, based on me being there, they have this box available to purchase all 10, where you get 1 of every color, which I highly recommend, because you're gonna have a color for absolutely every game. It'll match, I think they put the 10 basic colors, really. So they'll match every single game you've got to be very, very close. The colors are very vibrant, as you can see, they pop. So if you're playing games, like for instance, where you've got like a purple color, like they really, really go nicely. They really gel well. I can't believe how nice they go with the Gloomhaven stuff. It actually kind of blew my mind when I put them in the trays. I was like, wow, these look fantastic. So these are essentially the different configurations. Now when you go ahead and you open up one of these packs, which I won't do here, you'll notice that there's an instruction sheet, as I mentioned. The instruction sheet looks like this. So essentially you get an instruction sheet that tells you all the different ways that you can actually connect these UberStax. So the 2-piece setup, you can do like a 3-piece setup like this, where you kind of have 2 up top, 1 on the bottom for a base. You can do 6-piece setups, of course, where you get you want to make sure you put a stronger base in the back, but like one whole color could be used to build that. Or you can go crazy and do something like the 5-piece setup where it's just tiered like crazy up a hill, and then you got the 7-piece, which allows you to carry like a whole bunch of cards, and honestly you could probably make that as wide as you really want based on how many colors you've got. So I kind of did that here. Like here's the 5-piece crazy tier system. Here's the 2-piece as we saw with Arkham Horror. This kind of is closer to what Gloomhaven was kind of like, or even this. The one reason, just so you guys understand, that I put the black piece in between and thought that was useful is, as you can see, if you're playing a game like Gloomhaven where you want to see the bottom and tops of each card, this was the only problem I ran into, was that you'd lose the bottom half of the card on the top row. So if you're playing a particular board game where you actually need to see the bottom of the, you need to see more than just half the top card, then by putting in just that one extra piece, you're golden. Like no problems whatsoever. So that's all it really takes. It really, and I can tell you, if you buy the individual packages, based on the colors you want, you'll get what you need to build those types of 2-tiered systems to be fine. But you can also just go ahead and pick up the whole 10-pack box together and you're golden. I mean, you'll be able to build whatever the heck variations of things you want. But anyway, very, very cool product. They also provide bags as well, which I believe you can purchase. I'm not 100% sure whether or not the bags come with this box set or not, but I know they do have them on the store. They are very handy. The box itself can be used, I guess, as storage, but to be totally honest, this is just a lot easier. So again, I'm doing this with one hand, so apologies for how silly this looks, but essentially throw them in the bag like that. It's a nice bag, and then you can kind of just close them up as per normal, zip them up like so, and there you go. You got your kind of UberStax all set up. So anyway, the reason I did this video is not because of any other reason than simply I got a crazy amount of comments on these things throughout the video, and I felt so bad. I was spending so much time filming Gloomhaven, and I was spending so much time putting all my effort into that I was just kind of going, hey guys, this is where it is. This is what they're called. You'll find them. And most people are like, thank you. I'll go to their site, pick them up. But I really thought that this needed a video because I got such a massive positive response on it that these guys did an incredible job. They actually are, from what I understand, they actually live really, really close to me. I think they live within Alberta. So this company is a company that's close to me. But the crazy thing is I purchased these from a store thinking like, okay, these will be nice. I'll just try them out in a couple games. Like they're just plastic Lego pieces that connect together. They can't be all that useful. I probably won't even pull them out all the time. I can tell you right now, I use them in absolutely every game I play. The only times that I don't bring them out is if I honestly can't think of a time. Like I'm trying to think of a time right now. Like Gloomhaven, I use them. Arkham Horror, I use them. I have a couple other playthroughs coming up, which I don't want to spoil, but I'm going to be using them. These are going to be in every single game because for me, convenience-wise, it's amazing to just have your hand unfolded in front of you. And for Arkham Horror, like it does not get any cooler looking than this, than seeing like your entire setup right in front of you, staring you in the face without you having to touch a single card. I love that. I think it's really cool. So anyway, obviously I would have loved to set up a second table behind me. This table right here is a Costco table, which I am definitely going to be replacing within the next month or so with a gaming table, which is going to look a lot more professional. But as of right now, I would have loved to put a table behind this, set up Ticket to Ride, set up all kinds of other games. But just imagine Ticket to Ride's trains on these types of holders. Imagine card games like just classic stuff, like even stuff that's just simplistic party games. Like these things work with everything. So anyway, all I want to say is it's a great product. It's worth your money, and I would 100% recommend them. I've already bought more. I think I've got enough, but it seems like I could never have enough of these things. But I really, really wanted to let you guys know where I got them. So all the information will be in the description below in terms of where you can go on their site, as I mentioned before. And I really want to give a big shout out to these guys because I think they did an incredible job. It's very creative and something that I think wasn't really being done to its fullest potential to this date. And I think these things have been around for a little bit, but they just haven't gotten the as much publicity as I think they deserve. So this is really kind of a shot in the dark for them to, or for other people really, especially with this Gloomhaven campaign going on, to see how useful these things really are in a real world situation. So I'll be linking my playthrough, my entire playthrough where I use UberStax the entire time. Plus, I'm going to link to an individual video of me building a gigantic temple in the middle of the table using UberStax and for the game. I think that was really fun. And, you know, hopefully you guys can see it in action and make a choice on whether or not you think it's worth your money. And that's really all it comes down to. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. I want to thank everybody for all the great feedback on the channel. I want to thank you guys all for your support. If you like what you see, give us a great thumbs up. I'd love to see your support on this. And hey, if you like it and it's something that you think interests you in terms of purchase, run over to their site, pick it up. They'll be more than happy to help you out. So until the next time, guys, keep rolling solo.